Hey, what's up? This is Breakman X, and welcome to the game show on May 28th, 2025. Since 2002, the game show is a celebration of video games and our collective interests mixed with a healthy dose of humor while bringing in our favorite people in the game and movie industries on as guests. As always, I've got my buddies here with me. How are you doing, Jack?
I'm doing great. It's summer. I think I said that last week, but it's officially summer. My kids are out of school. I don't know what to do with myself.
It sure is nice for it to be a little bit warmer. That is true. And Logan, how are you doing today?
Doing fantastic. Things were a whirlwind because I've been packing up to go to New Mexico. They've got a film conference out there, but all set, ready to go. And now I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. And you're not Daria. Jess, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing really good. I'm excited to be here and be a part of this podcast.
Awesome. And tonight we have an absolutely awesome guest. So GameSack is one of my absolute favorite YouTube channels and shows of all mediums, actually, with an impressive 318,000 subscribers. I have discovered so many games from GameSack over the years and continue to watch it every other Sunday when an episode premieres. Joe talks about video games that he finds interesting and a few that maybe not so great. Longish new episode every other Sunday at a minimum, released at 12 a.m. Mountain Time. Check out GameSack now, and it is my honor to have you on the show. Joe, how's it going?
Good. What's up?
Not too much. Just excited to get going. So we'll go ahead and break right into it. So bad joke here, of course, to start off. But what was the genesis, or should I say the Mega Drive of GameSack?
Okay, so that's a question for me. Basically, Dave and I were just deciding to make a YouTube show of sorts, and we just see what we could do. And of course, the thing we had in common was video games, and we both visited forums a lot, video game forums. And we felt we could get a decent audience for that. So we just decided to throw together a little something, and then we just threw together another one, and then I put out the first one, and then the second one, and then we just kept going. And that was like 14 years ago now.
Oh, wow. Geez.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy that it's been going on that long. But
Yeah,
really cool.
The first episode the day the 3DS launched in North America.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because I went up to his house because we were going to go shopping for 3DS games and stuff. And I brought my camera gear and stuff. And we just decided, let's make an episode today while I was up at his house. And we didn't even have an idea. So we just decided to make it on the Menacer versus the Super Scope.
Yeah. Age-old battle there.
Yeah.
Well, very cool. Jack, all right, you're up, sir.
Yeah, man. So, Joe, thanks for coming on. I love a lot of the comparison videos that you've done over the years, like whether it's like console versus console or looking at the differences in ports from systems to systems, especially retro games when they came home from the arcades. What are some of the craziest examples you can think of where the game that made its way home to consoles or computers didn't really capture the spirit of the arcade game, for better or worse?
Well, I always go back to there's a few, but like eSWAT and Shadow Dancer on the Genesis are completely different than their arcade counterparts. And some of it's for the better, some of it's for the worse. In eSWAT's case, I think Shadow Dancer is a lot better on the Genesis. Another example would be Thunderblade on the Master System, where the arcade has all this, scaling and rotation and cool graphical effects, and you get it on the Master System. And it's like, what is this? It's like, oh my goodness. No, why did you even try? It's
awesome.
Bad.
Yeah. Shadow Dancer is an interesting one because, like the arcade version is more or less just kind of like, hey, it's more Shinobi, but you've got a dog this time.
Yeah,
and
with awkward controls.
Yeah. And the home version is something completely different, right?
Yeah, I like how in the home version, you charged the dog, and in the arcade, I think you pressed down to use the dog, and it was just awkward. Of course, I played the Genesis version first, so maybe I'm biased.
That's a game I gave another shot because of GameSack. Because I just one-hit deaths just used to kind of turn me off. But after seeing, I can't remember which episode was it, years and years ago of that game, I gave it another try. But
yeah, I can beat that whole thing because you can turn the the shurikens off in the tile screen, so you only have the sword, except during the boss fights, and I can beat it in that mode. And it's actually really fun in that mode.
That's rad. That's really cool.
That's awesome.
All right, Logan.
Yeah. So you've done setup videos, but what is the thing you're most proud of with your game setup? Like, it could be any of the TVs in your house, or it could be like a console, anything.
Well, I guess the thing I'm probably most proud of is something you guys never see, and that's my setup over here, where, you know, because I play all my games right here and recapture them. But I've got all my game systems here, and then got more over there. I've shown them in one video, and you can. I don't know if you guys can see it, but my Neo Geo, the red thing at the end of that table. Yep. But they're all together, and pretty much any console I have, I can just, you know, click it on and there it is, and press a button and start capturing right away. So I used to have to take hook up each console individually right here on the table, play it, and then move on to the next console and just move them back and forth. And it was a huge pain in the ass, but now it's like it's a lot better. It's a lot more relaxing.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
And it's definitely better on the consoles, you know, not being hooked up and removed all the time, pulling all those cables in and out.
Yeah. It must be just really satisfying to have everything right there.
Yeah.
Really easy access.
Bam. So Logan, do you want to catch us up on the chat if anyone's written in yet? And if you'd like to, just comment on the YouTube right now, or you can join our Discord there at breakmanx.com. We'd love to hear what you have to say.
Yeah. So I think this one I'll read here from Fenris Wolf Retro. Hi, Fenris. GameSack is a channel I've been watching for years, one of my favorite review channels of all time. I discovered a ton of games and even systems because of GameSack. That's really cool.
I've seen Fenris Wolf Retro around on the socials.
Yeah. Oh, he has a question for you. He says, question
here we
for
go,
Joe.
directly.
What console collection are you the most proud of?
I don't know. I think I have the most games for Genesis, but I'm not far behind on like Saturn and maybe TurboGrafx. Those are the ones that I like the most. Just because I'm me and I'm biased towards those consoles.
That's great.
Not that I dislike really any console, but I've kind of gotten out of collecting lately because you know, with all the EverDrives and ODEs and stuff, they make it so you don't really need the real physical game anymore, which I think personally is great.
Yeah.
Is there anything in particular in your Saturn collection that you're very fond of?
Oh, there probably is. I mean, there's like I have Panzer Dragoon Saga. I have a few like high dollar games that I got back when they were new. They weren't high dollar at the time. I'm also proud of my Master System collection because I have the complete U.S. collection except for Buster Douglas Knockout Boxing, which last I checked several years ago was north of $500, and it's probably way more now. And it's just a horrible, horrible game. And it's just not worth it.
Yeah.
$500 for terribleness.
Yes.
Jess. Oh, go. Wait, Logan, you were saying something.
More.
Go ahead. One more. Okay, that's great. Yeah, keep them coming. It looks like it's rapid fire over there. That's great.
Yeah, we've got a question from Johnny Graphics. Fun asking for some GameSack lore here. Why pedal it GameSack? Why not Game Bag or Game Pouch?
Because
hard hitting questions. Yeah.
Because we're juvenile and we wanted to come up with a name like that. I mean, I think the first one we came up with was Game Squirt, but that was a little too much. So we settled on GameSack, and like I think on the 12th anniversary episode, I put a little part at the front of the video where it said like, "Hello and welcome to GameSack." Like, what are we calling it? And Dave's like, "GameSack." Okay, yeah. Hello and welcome to GameSack. So it's like right when we pressed record, we couldn't even remember what it was called. So
that's great. Well, it works.
That's great.
It works for sure. And Jess.
Yeah, so you've done a lot of really cool musical things over the years with GameSack, and you even have some tunes up on OC Remix.
Yeah.
What's your history with music, either game-focused or otherwise?
well, when I got a computer, like back in the 90s, late 90s. It's been a long time. There was a program on the Mac called Vocal Writer. And I started messing around with that. And, you could just punch notes in wherever you wanted them, one at a time, and extend them, transpose them, make chords and all that kind of stuff. And plus it was like a text to speech program, and it actually had a computer voice, several different computer voices that would sing to the notes you put in there, and you could assign words that it would sing, one syllable per note. And so Overclocked Remix came on the scene around that time. And I was like, oh, this is fun, because I was part of that site, but, I wasn't submitting remixes yet. And I was like, I want to try and submit some remixes for this. So I worked on making some tunes out of some of my favorite games, which weren't too musically complex, and put up some stuff there. And a couple of the they called them Robo Voice remixes. Like the Final Fantasy one was really popular. And I got that one up there. And then after that, I used Reason, and now I'm using Logic Pro. And so I'm not like hugely musically talented, but I guess I'm not, and what was it? I'm not, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I guess I have some skill, but that just sounds like I'm overselling myself on my musical abilities. So
it's pretty cool to have something on OC Remix, though. I mean, I've been on that site forever. So, and I'd heard the Robo Final Fantasy in the past. So
because that, like, a guy on a site called Newgrounds or Newsground, I don't remember what it was called, but he made Flash videos over there, and he asked if he could use the Final Fantasy Robo Voice mix and make a little Flash video out of it. And I'm like, yeah, sure, knock yourself out. And I guess that was really popular.
Wow, that's awesome.
Like I watched it, and I'm like, okay, I don't know much or enough about Final Fantasy to truly appreciate what he did here, but it was cool.
There you go. So it's kind of a fun thing to talk about with our guests, but how did you discover games, or at least figure out that you loved them? Like, what was it that originally grabbed you or made you gravitate towards video games?
Well, I think, as a kid growing up in the 80s, there was lots of, like, at the grocery store, there was a Pac-Man and a Q*bert and a Kangaroo machine. And, my mom would go grocery shopping, and she'd leave me at the front of the store where the arcades were, and give me a buck or two in quarters, and I'd be playing Miss Pac-Man, not Pac-Man, sorry. And I would just love the hell out of each and every one of those. So I have fond memories out of Miss Pac-Man, Kangaroo, and Q*bert, especially with Q*bert, because it had those funky voices, and then you fall off, and the cabinet would actually knock. You could feel it knock.
Yeah.
And it was just so cool. So I liked video games then, but I think technically, I don't know if this counts, but my first video games at home were like the little Coleco Miss Pac-Man, because I liked the arcade so much. Someone in my family got me the little Coleco Miss Pac-Man, and it was a far cry from the arcade, but I still love the hell out of it.
Like the little tabletop one?
Yeah. And my dad eventually, for whatever reason, he had a Pong console. I wasn't living, or he wasn't living with us at the time, but he eventually gave that to me. And then I played Atari at someone else's place, but Atari never really grabbed me. I liked it okay, but I was just like, it is a far cry from the arcade. But then, when the 8-bit system started coming around, I started paying attention, because the arcade games were getting better, and then all of a sudden the home consoles were a lot better, and Sega's advertising really grabbed me, and it worked. And it's like hot hits today, hot hits on the way, or whatever it was that they said. And their arcade games were what I would always play in the arcade. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to buy a Sega system. And so I saved for that and got some money for Christmas, and then go to the store. It sold out, and I had to wait for like a month or 2 months before they got more stock back in, before I could finally buy a Sega system. And I think that was the beginning of 1988.
Oh, wow.
Wow,
that's awesome. So were you a big like racing game fan, like Outrun, Afterburner?
Yeah,
Hang
I
On.
loved Outrun, Hang On, Space Harrier really sold me.
Yeah.
And Choplifter. The first 2 games I got for that thing, the same day I bought the system, were Choplifter and Space Harrier.
Nice.
And it's like, oh man, for me, there couldn't have been 2 better games to get as the first video games you ever buy. So I was just like, whoa, this is crazy. And, when Space Harrier dies, it has that scream. It's like, and it's like, oh, there's actual speech in this. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So, and then Choplifter, with the way it scrolled, it had parallax scrolling in it. And that was not really anything I paid attention to back then. I was like, and if I kind of squinted, it had like a 3D effect. I was like, that's badass.
Yeah.
How did they do that? That's sweet. So then that began my obsession with parallax scrolling.
Which still comes across GameSack quite a bit, which is great.
Yep.
I love that. I didn't even notice all the parallax scrolling until GameSack, which is awesome. It's cool. So, Jack.
Yeah, so let's talk newer games a little bit. Do you have a Switch 2 pre-ordered? And if so, what game are you looking forward to firing up that isn't Mario Kart World when you get it?
I do not have a Switch 2 pre-ordered. I tried. Maybe I'll look on launch day. I don't know. It depends. I'm not going to really bust my ass trying to get one. I'm sure I'll get one. I don't think it'll be like the Switch 1 was. I think they're going to have stock pretty soon after launch day, because they say they want to sell like, what is it, 5 million in the first fiscal year.
Yeah.
Then they're going to have some stock pretty soon.
Yeah.
The first game I want to try out that's not Mario Kart would probably be either the Arcade Archives Ridge Racer or what is it, like Fast RMX? What is it called? Or Furious RMX? I can't remember.
Is it the little like wheelchair basketball game?
No. It's I forget what it is called, but it's like they had that game called, it was on the Switch, called Fast RMX, and it's the sequel to that. Fast Fusion is what I'm thinking.
Fast Fusion.
Yeah.
I gotta go see that. I'm blanking on that one for some reason.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, I hope you're right, because I've been trying. I tried the night of to get a Switch 2, and it just did not work out. Jack got one, of course, but I wasn't so lucky.
I tried.
Yeah, and then I did the Nintendo registration, I think, right away, and still haven't gotten an email. So we'll see.
But Dave did that too, and he hasn't gotten an email, and he's like way more into Nintendo's graces as far as like the prerequisites that you need to for them to email you about it, because he's got all the hours. He's been a paying subscriber for a long time and all that. So, and he still hasn't gotten an email.
Huh. Crazy.
Awesome. Well, hey, we've got a Wild Mall.
Hey.
Hey, Mall.
How's it
What's
going?
up, man?
So, just so you're warned, my computer may die at any second, but I'm trying.
Oh no.
So
We'll cast
see.
the Phoenix down.
Yeah, I forgot that like half of like the computer rig I normally use is at my girlfriend's work right now. She's working in the office for one mandatory week before bringing everything back here. So all discombobulated, my rapid charger's out and everything. So anyway, we're here. Hey guys, it's good to see you.
Glad to have you here.
Yeah, I do wish, Break, you have great fortune in getting your Switch 2. I'm hoping to just walk into a Target, as I have many a Nintendo release in the past, and just find one laying on the floor somewhere and pick it up off the ground.
It's probably going to be
we'll
fine.
see.
As Joe was saying a minute ago, I think that they're going to have stock. So I'm not too worried about it. If I get one, I get one. I'm not going to flip out too much about it.
Yeah, so that's
nice.
my thing. I don't want to fight for it. Like everything. Like gaming to me should be, it feels like it should be pretty casual. I hate the FOMO aspect of everything anymore.
Everything.
Running a card shop right now and watching people get into literal fist fights over Pokemon. I just hate, just what the collector market has become for everything that comes out anymore. So I just want to roll in, have a nice retail experience, pick it up, pay the nice person, take it home, and download my update patch for 2 hours and then play a game.
I want you to get into a fist fight over it. I think that.
Did anyone here get a Wii U on launch? It took forever to update.
Yes.
Yeah, that did take forever, and the Wi-Fi was super slow on that thing. Yeah.
Yeah, we did the classic trap where it was like got it for a either Christmas or birthday present for a young one, and then had to go through the pain of making them sit there and wait while we updated it before they could.
I posted a picture of that back in the day of the Wii U update being slow, and people got so mad that I was like, "Oh, how dare you say that Nintendo was slow?" But the Wii U proved me wrong. Not really. Maul, did you want to start with your most meaningful games question?
Perhaps actually. Hold on a second. Actually, I'm not quite ready yet. Yeah, come back to me.
We can come back. Logan.
Yeah. So, what really makes a good game for you? What hooks you when you think of your favorite game?
That's a hard one to quantify. Just something it doesn't like treat me like an idiot. It's like I've seen games that have tutorials on press this button to jump. It's like I think I can figure that out. Games that don't treat me like an idiot, but also have good physics. Just fun if we're talking about an action game, I guess, or really any game that's not like menu driven or an RPG. And it's hard to quantify fun for me, but a fair would be good. Like starts out fair and gradually gets harder. Games that start out just like balls to the wall difficult, they can actually be good, but it's rare. That, in my opinion, it really depends on the game, because I can think of a few right now that start off kind of hard. But I don't know. That's a tough question to answer, really.
Jess.
It's.
Oh, go ahead, Jack. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say it's different for everybody. Like I know for me, like music, and
music really helps.
Yeah,
good music in a game that'll make me stick with it longer.
Yeah.
And then also games where you want to see what comes next. It's like you've got to get to that next level because you want to see like what's after this one, and because this one's cool, the next one's probably going to be cool too. So it's really hard to put into words, at least off the top of my head, how that works. But yeah, something like that.
The desire to see what's next, I think, is a big one. I think that's probably the biggest one for me. I mean, especially in like the older games, the pixel art. It's fun to see how they pull off different things with the limited technology. I'd love to see how they do those various things, even if it's parallax or flat background or whatever. Just how they're able to pull off different things is really cool. And of course,
we did
music.
Just get a question from Fenris too.
Oh, go ahead.
So Fenris says this is a question for everyone. What would you consider to be the most disappointing console?
Well, let's start with Joe.
Virtual Boy.
Guest.
Virtual Boy or Virtual Boy or 3DO, because that one cost $700 and I paid that. I saved up for my first job and I got that, and then nothing happened with it. I mean, we got Road Rash, which was awesome, Need for Speed, a couple of others that were pretty good, but it's 3DO, man.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna make it harder. We can only say a console once.
Okay.
And since I made the rule, I'll go last. Jack.
CDI.
Maul.
God, probably the Jaguar. It had some okay games on it, but I just hated the controller on it.
It's getting hard, man. I don't know. A lot of the bad
button
ones.
overlays, man. Button overlays. Worst idea ever.
I'm thinking hard. Logan.
Okay, so this is really difficult because I haven't owned that many consoles in my lifetime. And I have fond memories of all the consoles I've owned, but I might say the Wii because that one had the most like shovelware. And haven't had that many other consoles. Still loved it to death,
That's the
though.
one I was gonna go with. Stop it, Jess.
Well, that was also the one I was going to go with, because I'm in a very similar boat of I really only had like a handful of consoles in my life, and none of them were particularly bad that I have like any bad associations with. Is it a cop out if I say the Wii U?
No,
No,
that's a different one.
I
That's
think it's
quite
the easiest one left for Break to choose.
Oh, I'm gonna pick one that's not gonna be what you think. The Xbox 360.
I knew it.
And the reason is
get it.
because I went through 3 of them that red ringed that I had to send back. Games, awesome. Lost Odyssey, one of my favorite games of all time. Some really great games on the system. But you guys took all the ones I would have said, so it's getting pretty far into the list. So I'm gonna have to go with that just because the hardware failed on me so many times, and then they tried to tell me it had water damage. I'm not over that.
Yeah.
Still.
Mine never red ringed. And I've had the
That's
original
amazing.
one. Well, I didn't get it right away, a few months later or something.
Mm-hmm.
But it still works.
That's awesome. I'm jealous.
We got
mine did not do that.
Yeah, I ended up preemptively getting rid of mine before it red ringed just to get the S when it came out because I wanted the HDMI port.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I got one of those as well.
I have one of I do like the S, and I know it won't fail me.
We got a couple of responses from Jesse Brown. They said they were voting for the Wii as well, and fighting words in response to the Xbox 360.
I'm not saying the games were great. I'm just like, if you have to send a console into the manufacturer 3 separate times,
Yeah.
Yeah,
That makes sense. I having worked in a game store at the time, like I never owned one, even though the game library was great, because I got tired of replacing them for people and didn't want to have to go through the cycle myself at the same time.
I will say one of my fears with getting the launch Switch 2s is just going to be have they fixed the controller issues, the analog stick issues. Like
I just want
I would hope so.
Yeah,
I
I would
want
hope
less
so
lag,
too, but like
too.
man, it's in the back of my head until I actually play with it for a while. I'm going to be nervous about it.
Did
Yeah,
that only affect the Joy-Cons, or did that affect the Pro Controller as well? Because I only use the Pro Controller.
I think it affected Pro Controller too.
Yeah, I think it was
Yeah.
everything.
I think it was both.
I supposedly that's been fixed. People have. I mean, we don't really know yet. I don't think, but supposedly, the Switch for me, I feel the input lag on that one, especially with some of the 2D games. So I'm hoping that the input lag is a little bit better on the Switch too. I haven't really
I
seen.
would hope
anything.
so. It's running at supposed to run at 120 frames per second. It should have very, very little lag, but
I hope so.
I guess we'll see.
And better D-pad on the Pro Controller.
Okay. Well, the Pro Controller D-pad is fine for me. It's just the Joy-Con. I could never use it as a D-pad.
Yeah, and a bigger Joy-Con will be nice too. Like for when you have to use them. That I don't know. It always just feels like it's a tiny thing that I'm gonna crush in my hand. But Mal, we'll go ahead and go back to you with your.
Yeah, indeed. So, was just curious, what are some of those meaningful games to you? Not to your favorites, but ones that actually carry an emotional weight.
Wow, that's a tough one to think of off the top of my head. But some things that come to mind right away are East Book 1 and 2 on the TurboGrafx CD. I don't know. It was such an experience at the time because I was really the first CD game I ever experienced, and the music it couldn't be any better for a first experience with a CD game, and it's just amazing. And Phantasy Star, both the first one and the second one. The second one, I mean, the game's 500 years old now, so I can say this. But a character dies just before the midpoint, and that was the first time. I can admit this. I shed some tears. And that the video game never made me shed a tear before. So yeah, that really kind of moved me. So definitely Phantasy Star 2 and Phantasy Star 1, just because it was the first story-driven RPG I'd ever played. And that was an amazing first RPG. It's very hard for me to get into other RPGs because my first experience with one was that good. I can, but it's just, the bar was so high for a long time.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Good picks. Good picks. And it's a good transition into Jess's question, actually, Jess.
Yeah, it really is. And so you kind of already answered it to a certain extent, but I'm wondering if you have like others on the list of what are games that have stories or writing in general that really stand out to you.
Yeah, there are like Shenmue, the first two. People love them or hate them. I loved them. Like Shenmue, I just really got into it, and I didn't want to let it go when I finished it, so I played it in its entirety again. And then Shenmue 2 came around, and that was even like the climax was even more epic. And it's like, okay, no, I'm not done. I'm gonna play through it again, and I did. And then when they came out with the and I played them off and on over the years until the HD remasters came out on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox, whatever. And I got them both because why not? So I played through both Shenmue 1 and Shenmue 2 on both of those. And I made sure to get a platinum on the PlayStation 1 or the PlayStation version. And Xbox doesn't have platinum. They have whatever they have. And I got them all on the Xbox as well. Then I played Shenmue 3 and I was like,
should have just left it alone.
Well, yeah, it just nothing happened in the game, really. It's just not much happened.
So I got to ask, because I was a huge fan of Shenmue when I was younger, and like Shenmue 1, Shenmue 2 were amazing, just kind of open world life simulators. And then you fast forward to like modern consoles now, you've got the Yakuza series, and I'm interested, does that have you played any of those? Do you like those at all? Have you tried them?
I have some of the modern ones, but I've still never played them. I played a couple of the originals, and I didn't play them more than a couple of hours. I was just like, people are saying like, oh, it's what Shenmue should have been. It's what Shenmue should have been. And I'm like, no, this is its own thing.
Yeah, it is its own thing, but I see connective tissue in my head.
Yeah, I mean, you're wandering around town, and I can't remember if in those first ones you could play arcade games or not. I know in the current ones you absolutely can.
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't really played. I know the current ones are supposed to be like super good, and but it's like kind of overwhelming to me now. It's like, where do I start? Can I just pick up any of them and just plug it in and just playing them in whatever order I prefer? It's like I don't know where to start, even though I have a couple of them.
Gotcha.
Nice. Well, this next one I've been excited to ask back even when you were doing like sound sack and all that stuff. But we definitely have a shared love of sound. And I just kind of want you to geek out a little bit, if you will, on all the cool movie theater stuff you've done in the past, or some of your favorite, and just why sound is so important to you.
I don't know. I think I like sound so much because I like music so much. And then I'm also kind of geeky in a technical way. So I wanted to know why it sounds the way it does, and what they do to mix it and stuff like that. So starting to work in movie theaters, well, even before that, because I'd want to do my best to watch movies in stereo and stuff when I could. But when I started working in movie theaters is right as digital sound was coming into theaters. We got DTS with Jurassic Park, and I watched that movie on opening weekend in DTS. And I was just like blown away because the DTS logo comes on, flies around the room, like, oh, and I was like, that's crazy. I've never heard that in a theater before. That's nuts. And I ended up working at that very theater for a long time, a little later. And I just got into the technical issues of it. And it took me a while to get into the like sound mixing and stuff like that, because I was just like, I was young, but stuff like that where you kind of settle down with it and get into it. Really, it just kind of comes with time. But I don't know exactly what I'm trying to say there. But
we're following.
I went to another theater where I was more of the tech than just a projectionist. And although I did do a few minor tech things at the previous one, and that's when it kind of really hit me. And it's like, okay, now I want the sound to balance the way it should be. Now I remember when Star Wars Episode 1 came out, I watched the projectionists. George Lucas had like some sort of memo where he said only the projectionists can watch this before it opens because they have to make sure the print is okay. And it's like, okay, yay, we get to watch Star Wars. So I watched it in auditorium number 16, and it sounded fantastic. It was freaking awesome. And then my auditorium let out before the other projectionist auditorium, which was auditorium 1, which was the same size auditorium, and basically a mirror version. And I was like, how did yours sound? And he's like, well, look at the volume. And he had turned the volume way down because it was super harsh.
Oh.
And you know, normally they should be run at a volume. The director wants them to be run at a volume of 7, and he had his down at like 4 after he adjusted it. And this was another guy who liked sound too. And so I was like, oh, that's not good. So I went in and took what I knew about EQing, and I re-EQ'd and reset the levels to the room. And the subwoofer was way low. The bass in the room was way low, so all you heard was this shrill harshness. And then I remember bringing in the projectionist another day when the audience was in there watching it, and I opened the door to the auditorium towards him. And I asked him, "How do you think it sounds now?" And it's right when kid Anakin powers up his his pod racer, and he's like, "It's working," and it goes boom, and it just shakes the room. He's like, "Whoa, that sounds better." So it's like, wow, I can make things sound good. So you know, it's just like,
it's awesome.
Yeah,
I got
I
into
think
it.
no matter what
I
you
could
think.
go on forever, but you know, like sound mixing, you know, I like doing that too. Like, you know, just mixing stuff for like videos and movies, and like the Game Chasers movie I did, and that's in 5.1, and that was super fun to do, and we got to watch that in a theater in 5.1.
I'm excited to see that someday.
I mean, the thing that sucks about it is that most of the places you watch it are going to be in mono because what do they call it? The content aggregator or whatever. They smushed it all down to one channel. And I gave it to them in the specs they required, and it's smushed down onto one channel. You can get the 5.1 on Blu-ray, and you can get it in stereo on Vimeo. But other than that,
We'll have to get the Blu-ray then.
yeah,
Ugh.
the Blu-ray is the only way to watch it, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, I'll have to check it out when I can. But GameSack always sounds awesome. It's always something I notice that it's the sound is really phenomenally mixed and sounds great. Just a follow-up question? What are some games that, in terms of the sound design, or even just like the mixing, the speaker separation, or whatever, that you think are really great?
Back in the day on the Xbox, I would say like Burnout Revenge. It was really cool because you get the boost and it just shakes the room when you use it, depending on which boost or which car you have. And then just crashes happening all around you. Lots of stuff on that Xbox. It was done really well. These days, it's not so much. It's crazy. I mean, sometimes you'll get a game in surround, like usually like on the PlayStation 5, like the Astrobot games sound really good. Like on the Switch though, it's like they rarely use their surround capabilities. They have them, but they rarely use them. Like Metroid Prime used it, the remake used it to good effect.
Wonder if that's just because they assume you're going to be playing a lot of game. Well, a lot of people are going to be just playing them handheld and won't hear
That's
it.
possible. You know,
I was noticing. I've been playing original Xbox lately. I've been noticing how great the sound is in a lot of those games, and like you're saying, better than a lot of the modern games. It's pretty interesting. I wish there'd be more of a focus on the speaker separation and the mixing in modern games. I would really appreciate it.
yeah, same.
We need you to mix the games. Then they would sound better.
I'd rather mix movies, honestly.
There you go. Okay, that'd be even cooler.
Awesome.
All right, Jack.
Yeah. All right. So, Joe, let's do some pre-word association here. I'm going to give you a word, and I want you to tell me the first thing that pops into your head.
Okay.
3DO.
Road Rash.
Hudson.
B.
Demo.
Pizza Hut.
Handheld.
Game Boy.
All right. Sega.
Master System. I don't know why.
Virtua.
Fighter.
Multiplayer.
The EA tap with 4 plugs on it, I guess.
Shmup.
Oh, my fist in someone's face because I hate that word.
I knew
Fair.
that.
That's fair. And finally, arcade.
Sega.
Awesome. Very cool. It's always interesting to see what just kind of pops in everybody's head.
Yeah. I was excited for the shmup answer. 'Cause I thought,
I thought it was either going to be, shmup or run and gun. I figured one of the two.
yeah. Yep. All right, Maul. You're up.
Yeah, so you mentioned episode 1, which, by the way, great movie for the sound. No matter what you might think of it, the prequels, like that pod racing sequence, and like every racer having its own. Yeah. Sebulba's pod is just like the greatest sounding thing of all time. But anyway, on the movies, what are some of your favorite films of all time, and what makes a film a favorite for you?
I have like so many favorites. It's really, really hard to decide. Like the first 3 Star Wars is without a doubt, going back forever. Stupid choice, but I also like Transformers the movie, the 1986 one. It's
so
not
good.
a good movie. It's not a good movie, but I like it.
It's fun though. It's so fun.
If you know Transformers, then it's salvageable. But if you sit your wife down to watch it, she's just going to be mad.
Optimus. That's the one where Optimus dies.
I say, don't you understand? Optimus died.
Like that. When I was
terrible.
a kid, that made me sad.
And then, of course, the Star Trek, the TOS movies, Star Trek 1 through 6. Well, maybe not 5 so much.
Maybe not 5, yeah.
But 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6, absolutely love them. Back to the Future, 1989 Batman, Apollo 13. Yeah, I could go on and on. Lots of them.
So, are there any contemporary films that have stuck out to you as well? I mean, obviously, you got a lot of classics on the list, and it's hard to beat them, But
yeah, I kind of like Godzilla -1. That one was pretty good.
That was fantastic.
That was really good.
Yeah, that one was really good. I'm trying to think. I like the Dunes. I was on a David Lynch kick not long ago. I'm kind of always on a David Lynch kick because I really like Twin Peaks.
Speaking of sound,
but he has good sound design. But so I went back and watched the original Dune, and it's not as bad as people make it out to be.
yeah.
So I mean, it's not great. You kind of have to know what is going on before it makes any sense whatsoever. And watching the more 2 recent Dunes really helps out with that, in my opinion. Speaking of which, I like, because same director, but the original Blade Runner I really like, but the most recent Blade Runner, the second one, the only other Blade Runner, I guess, was really good too. 2049 or whatever it was called.
Yeah, they're
really
very
interesting,
visually striking movies.
Yeah.
Great cinematography too.
And Truman Show. I mean, that's another one. I just
Truman Show. So for Dune, if you go back to watch it again, you should look for. There's a European cut. What is it called? I have to look it up.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, they've gone through, and it was a fan project at first, but they went through and they found all of the cut footage that has been scraped up over the years and did a restoration on it, and reassembled it as close as they could to Lynch's original screenplay. Because there is like an extended cut of it, but it's like he didn't have anything to do with that, and disassociated himself from it. But they have restored as much of the film as they could to its original, like 3-hour or some runtime, and apparently they did such a good job on it that the studio picked it up, and it's only licensed in Europe, not for the US, but they did an official release of it over there, and you can find it online too. So
I'll have to check that out.
When you're feeling like you're ready for some more Dune.
Might be a while, but
yeah, right.
They certainly made some choices when they made that one. I think I might have that on Blu-ray, Mall. I gotta go check.
Oh yeah,
after
did you
we're
get
done here.
Yeah. I know there's a region-free version of it floating around out there. So yeah.
Speaking of floating, the floating fat guys in that's pretty crazy.
Good old Baron Harkonnen.
Yeah.
All right, Logan, why don't you catch us up on the chat?
Yeah.
I'm surprised no one said Green Dog yet.
No, there were several of those
At
at the beginning.
yeah.
Several green dogs at the beginning. In terms of, we've got another question from Fenris, actually. What goes into making a game sack skit? Is it planned out carefully or just kind of spur of the moment random?
There is absolutely no care at all in the game sack skit. And yes, they are. They are. Well, it depends. They are very spur of the moment. I usually shoot them the same day I come up with the idea and finish editing them that night. I try to get them done as quickly as possible just to put the episode to bed, but at the same time, they're usually my favorite part of an episode. So sometimes I'll have to take a little longer on them. Like, there's one I want to do is like Game Sack, if directed by David Lynch, Part 3. That's probably going to take several days of shooting because it's just going to be nuts. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do with that yet, but we'll see. But yeah, mostly it's usually done in an evening.
Awesome.
We've got Sorry Mario says hi.
Hello.
Almost missed it, gonna have to watch on VOD. Yeah, all of our previous streams are still up on the channel. Glad you're here.
I saw Johnny Graphics mention that Metal Gear Solid on PS1 made him shed a few man tears.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I think there's some other like responses to stuff in the chat, but nothing directed at Joe at the moment.
I will say J-Rod mentioned he had two 12-inch subs hooked up to his Genesis, and rocking Streets of Rage on that thing must have been awesome.
Yeah, start playing round 6 because it just starts out with.
Yeah.
Man, Genesis has the strangest soundscape though of like it's got so many games that have this very particular like kind of high-pitched grindy buzzsaw techno noise, and the back is kind of a filler. And I say they had the most unique like my character is dying screams in any game. So a buddy of mine was just playing like a Chikan the other day, and God, the guy had such a just the scream just overpowers everything else in that game when he dies. It's ridiculous.
No, most Genesis games sound like farts. I'll admit it.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some really great stuff in there too, but yeah, there's a lot of fart sounds for sure.
I'm impressed with what they were able to do with Sonic and all the music there.
Yeah, well, that's with many games. Their flagship title just optimized everything, and then no one else figured out how to do anything until close to the end. You know,
astounding. But all right, Logan.
Yeah, so I've kind of got a follow-up question to Maul's previous question. Nice. Are there any movies that really like stick out to you for their sound design?
Oh yeah, like the aforementioned Episode 1. Really, any of those prequel trilogy movies are very good as far as sound. Trying to think what I like to put on to demo my stuff. Interstellar. That will crush your chest in certain sequences because the subwoofers are pushing so hard.
I saw that in the IMAX when they re-released it recently. Yeah, that was my experience.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, I'd like to breathe sometime, please. Love that movie too, by the way. It sucks because every time I like want to show off my sound system, I sit there and I look at my movies and I'm like, what should I do? It's like it's like the opening scene of Blade Runner 2049. I still don't remember if that's the proper year. They should just call it Blade Runner 2.
Yeah.
I think that's right.
But there's like the eyeball scene in the beginning where it's just like a close up of his eye, and it's like. But that's just more subwoofer. You know, it's not really like. Oh, there is one Blade, the original Blade. They remixed that in Dolby Atmos.
Yeah.
And when they
Nice.
put that guy down in the dungeon, he's kind of like bugging out, like kind of almost towards the end, and he hears something crawling around. Whatever that space is, it's going up and down and all around. It's like really cool.
Oh wow.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Super cool.
Yeah, the attention to detail. It's like it wasn't until I was listening to Return of the King once on they did like a 7-1 mix on that one. So we had like all the little surround sound satellite speakers in the house, and as the Witch King is walking up towards Eowyn, just before she reveals herself, and as he crunching on the ground, and like you hear the gravel like move from behind you to up in front of you as he like steps up to her. I just love little bits like that.
Yeah, that was great. I mean, the second movie with the talking trees. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm not like a huge Lord of the Ring fan. I love it, but I'm not super deep into it. So the Two Towers, that's what it was called.
Yeah.
But the talking trees, they sounded amazing because they had like this bass on their voice, and just whenever they talk, it's just amazing.
That actually sounded pretty good.
Yeah.
How you did it. One of the coolest sound things I ever got to when I was in grad school, Tom Holman took us into his like lab, and he just like sat us in a chair and turned off all the lights, and he was demoing some new surround sound tech he was working on, and it was ping pong balls. And like it literally felt like one was going to hit you in the face because it was so accurate how it made, like they're flying like right in front of your face, and right behind you, and then over you and under you, and like you felt like it was going to hit you. And then he turned on a screen, and it was a space shuttle launch, and it was like it just sounded ridiculous. How amazing it was. I still haven't heard anything quite that cool.
I thought you were trying to say the new technology was ping pong balls.
Yeah,
and I was
no,
like,
speakers are going to shoot ping pong balls at you.
Bro, this isn't new technology. We've had ping pong balls before.
Do you remember what he was calling his little new process there?
He was calling it. He just called it his prototype, and it was adding. I know part of it was adding speakers into the floor.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there were speakers in the floor below you, and then there was the speakers in the ceiling, which we have.
Yeah, how long ago was this?
It would have been 2012, 2011, so it was a while ago.
Oh wow, okay.
But it was his last semester there. He went to Apple that next semester, or right after that. But it was really cool because being super into sound, and one of the scariest things along that, and then I'll move on, was we had to do our final was we had to mix a short film with him sitting behind us, and he and like critiquing us as we mixed it, and he has like the greatest ears for anything, so it was really terrifying.
Right.
That would have been intense.
Yeah, it was intense. It was intense. And then every time he'd write something down, you're like, what did I do? But Jess.
Yes, so I know we're getting close to when you're gonna have to head out, but maybe one quick question at the end is, what's your absolute favorite like video game soundtrack?
Oh wow!
You can name a bunch of them because we just like to have.
That's hard. I have like, I rip all my game music to my hard drive, and I have just probably over a terabyte of it now, just game music.
Nice.
And man, let me take a look at my iTunes playlist, my games playlist here, and just to see if anything pops into my head, because there is a lot of stuff. I like to listen to a lot of arranged soundtracks too, like that are officially arranged by the companies, like the Ryuga Gotaku, which is Yakuza, has some good stuff. Xevious had a fairly recent good arranged album by several Japanese fellows. Man, that's hard. Final Fantasy, you can't go wrong with those.
Yeah,
those are amazing, and the stuff, they're especially up to like Final Fantasy X, like the first 10 or maybe 9, I don't know. Sarumaru was in the chat, and the FX Unit Yuki on the TurboGrafx CD has some amazing stuff.
Yes.
I love the techno and Res Infinite.
Yeah.
I'm just scrolling up my playlist here. It's not alphabetical or in any kind of order.
You have them in FLAC, or how do you rip them?
These are M4A. They're still lossless audio. Because I'm on Apple.
Oh yeah.
Now, the FLACs work, but they won't work in iTunes.
Right.
Man, a lot of stuff. ActRaiser, the symphonic suite is amazing. That Yuzo Koshiro arranged himself with a real symphony. And the game itself is great as well. Man, there's just so much. Final Fantasy Dissidia. Have you anyone heard of that?
Oh yeah, the fighting game?
Yeah.
Gradius.
Yeah.
Like Gradius 3. Oh man, the music in that stuff makes it feel like you can accomplish anything.
It does. It's so hopeful.
And heroic. it's awesome.
It's like, you're going to do great, and then we're going to
and now you're
smash
dead.
your
Now you're
dreams.
dead. Yeah.
Here's some bubbles.
Yeah, and like for chiptunes like Devil's Crush. It's just amazing, and it can be. It sounds like someone's just jamming on guitar. I mean, it doesn't sound like an actual guitar, but you know that's what the composer thought of when.
Didn't you guys get the composer commenting?
Yeah, we did.
I remember that like years ago.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
There's also some Yuzo Koshiro news that I can't share yet.
Ooh.
Oh.
And it's not similar to what Johnny Happy Console Gamer shared. It's nothing like that.
That's really cool though.
Yeah, it is really cool.
He's amazing. I mean, it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's so cool growing up. I mean, probably for you, like thinking these people are amazing, and then all of a sudden, they're like liking your stuff.
Oh, it's nuts. It's nuts. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I never would have thought of that. It just blows my mind. I mean, these guys are rock stars to me.
Yeah.
And I'm talking to them. Whoa. And they like my stuff.
Yeah. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah. I never would have imagined.
Go back in time when you're playing Revenge of Shinobi, and whatever news you have saying, tell yourself that.
For as silly as it is, I like Loco Roco's music. Some of that stuff.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
The Katamari games, I like that kind of stuff. Oh, speaking of Yuzo, the Wangan Midnight Maximum Tune 2. I mean, most of those Wangan Midnights have excellent music, but Maximum Tune 2 is like kind of like a rave techno. I forget what the exact subset of techno it is, but it's really good.
Yeah,
it's just going through all of these. It's just a little Big Planet, not specifically game music, because I think a lot of it was licensed, but it was good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm not even like a quarter of the way through my playlist.
That's awesome, though.
I love it.
I think I need to throw one out just while we're talking about game soundtracks for Donkey Kong Country. Otherwise, my coworker Nick will kill me if I don't mention him.
This is amazing.
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Joe, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We really appreciate your time, and it's been a lot of fun getting to chat with you. As a longtime GameSack fan, it's been really cool.
Well, thanks for having me on.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, and we'll be looking for the Yuzo Koshiro news, and make sure you check out GameSack every other Sunday. The most recent one was a cool arcade comparison video. There was like a couple Golden Axe games to compare. Awesome.
All right. Well,
thank you so much.
Have a good one. All right.
You too.
See ya.
See ya.
Thanks, Joe.
Well,
we're not going anywhere, right?
No, we're not going anywhere. We've got a little bit of time left, but that was a lot of fun. I just want to, again, even though he's off the air, thank you so much, Joe, for hanging out with us tonight. That was a lot of fun. Getting to chat. When I very first started, I should have told him this. Maybe I'll message him afterwards. But when I very first started the show, there were a few folks that I had in mind wanting to get, and GameSack was definitely one of the very first ones I thought of. So, and a few of the other ones we've had too. That's really awesome. Really awesome.
He seems awesome. It was really great to talk to him. I've had a lot of questions since I started watching his channel.
Yeah, well, and it's nice when you meet those people. I mean, virtually, but when you meet them and they're like cool. Like I'll never forget when we first met the Penny Arcade guys, and I was like, I remember Richie looked at me before we watched it, and he's like, "What if they're dicks?" And I was like, I never thought of that, but I sure hope that they're not.
Yeah, I just remember when we met them in Seattle, I was just like, "Are you sure they're gonna be cool with us just coming and hanging out with them?" And like, you were like, "Yeah, that'll be fine." And like, we had a blast, just kind of just sitting, chilling with them.
Oh yeah, no, I was always because to me they were like, it was like Tom Cruise. I mean, they were amazing to me that we were getting to hang out with them and that I could like call them. And every time the first 4 times I met him after that first interview, I'd always like introduce myself. And he's like, I know who you are. And every time I was like, whoa, that's so crazy. He knows who I am. But anyway, awesome.
You spent the next few years casually dropping that you had met Gabe and Tycho. Like, oh yeah, I know these guys. Yeah.
I love them.
We know, Break. We know.
I love them.
Yes.
I love them so much. They're cool. All right. So a couple things we should talk about before we get into some content. But I wanted to welcome Jess officially to the show. Since we had a limited amount of time with Joe, I wanted to make sure we got through that. But Jess, welcome to the game show. We're so happy to have you on here. We're not kicking Daria out. Daria's on vacation this week. Daria will be rejoining us after she's done with her vacation. But Jess will be a permanent fixture here. We're so happy to have you. So why don't you just briefly tell us about yourself a little bit and why you want to join the craziness here?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be a part of this. I've always loved video games since I was really, really little, so to be able to be on here and be able to talk about them with other people that also love video games, super exciting. I am a screenwriter, and I'm currently in grad school out in California at USC at the moment. Fight on.
Yeah.
In no small part thanks to Breakman X over here, obviously. He was one of my professors in undergrad and really kind of lit that fire and that excitement for the movie industry and writing. And so obviously a huge part of that is thanks to you. I'm also working on social media for the podcast as well, which has been super fun to kind of jump in and be a part of that. Yeah, just super, super excited to be here.
Awesome. Well, welcome. And Jess, I'll just say, as I've told you many times and told lots of people, Jess is the best writer I've ever had as a professor. Like, she's a phenomenal... She did an independent study with me, and she had to write a script a week, which is a big order. And she was just like, yeah, I'll do it. Whatever. and then she wrote, like, each one was really, really good. So certainly no surprise to me that you're out in LA at USC and doing cool things there. So awesome.
And you're just grinding your students down, break a script a week.
And it was
all right.
It was so brutal too because of my schedule. The only time I had time to like sit down and write was 4 hours before we met. I don't know if I've told you this.
Oh, that's great. No, I love that actually.
Every single one of those short scripts that I wrote for you was written the 4 hours before we met. Because it was the only time I had.
that trains a muscle.
It was so helpful.
Yeah.
So helpful to like get out of my head, and it forced you to like not edit and not overthink things. You just had to get words on the page, and it has been probably the most helpful thing I have done. Like when it comes to like training and like writing.
Oh, good. I'm glad it was helpful for you. You know, I'm a huge believer, and you have to train that intuition when you're writing, and then you add the other things on later. So I'm glad that was helpful. I learned that by not practicing for my music lessons and then having to cram and then having, hi Dean, if you're out there, having to cram right before my drum lessons because I hadn't practiced. And then like he was awesome. He was awesome. No complaints, but you could tell if he hadn't practiced. So I was like freaking out, like trying to learn like these parts right before. And but
I just picture you in Whiplash, and he's just like flinging cymbals at you or something like that.
He wasn't quite Whiplash. That's a pretty insane. But yeah, I was terrified some of the times, mostly because of myself, not because of him. But anyway, that's awesome. Super, super glad to have Jess. She'll be bringing us a lot of amazing information and stuff going forward. Other thing I wanted to mention is if you haven't noticed, we have shirts. If you go to store.breakmanx.com or just go to breakmanx.com and click store, we have 2 different shirts. We have a mug to put your coffee in. that has 2 different sizes. And then we have stickers. So pretty excited about that. We have not made new shirts since 2004. We had the very original run of shirts that was just for us at E3. We had a run after that we sold out of, and then we had another run in 2004 that we eventually sold out of those too. So it's really cool to have those going again. So the prices we have set on them basically as low as they can possibly be and not eat anything, just because we want anyone that's a fan to get one. So if you're interested at all, grab 1 or 2 or 3 or some stickers, great for the kids. No, in all seriousness, really excited to have those out. I'm excited to wear it myself.
I'll have to get one. I don't think I have a Breakman X shirt. Actually, I still have a Padinga shirt.
Oh, the Padinga ones were cool too. Yeah, we made. So if you count Padinga, we made some in 2009. But Breakman X has not since 2004. But those Padinga ones were pretty cool too. These are my favorite though. I love the logo. Originally designed collaboratively with Triad 636. And then recently, Logan took it and updated it and made it look all fancy and nice and glorious for 2025. So
yeah, that's fun.
It's also a whole reach back in the past thing. All right, so we've got that. So another thing I'm gonna mention, then we'll actually start talking about things that you care about. We've got a couple website updates. So breakmanx.com. I kind of redesigned the front page a little bit. Looks a little bit nicer. Took out some of the elements from the original site that I had to make it look old, and looks a little bit more modern now, and rearranged some things and all that. And the other kind of cool thing is if you go to the staff page, which you can click there at the top, or any of the like Logan or Jess's staff thing, you get to it that way. But I've updated the staff page, so everyone that is currently on board is there. So Jess is now there, and Captain Cluster. I don't know, Maul. Back in the Padinga days, Captain Cluster, Justin. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember these guys.
Yeah.
Oh,
so Captain
guys and gals.
Yeah. So Captain Cluster is back, and he's gonna write some content for us. Probably some hilarious stuff. JB, who's been a person that's been with Breakman X in various incarnations as a fan for years, came to our first LAN party. Still have some pictures of him as a youngin. Playing at the LAN party. So he's on there, and here's our Discord admin and TikTok live mod. And then Malachi, who's made some of the great reels that we've had. I want to give him a shout out. He's on there too. And then the other thing, if you scroll down, I called it emeritus staff because I didn't want to say former staff, but it also says former right below it. But it has everyone that I could remember throughout the years that have done substantial work for the site. If I've missed anyone, please let me know. But Richie's on there, Shadow, Q, VDG Master, Weezer Jedi / Dr. No, Loose Cannon, Mecha, Triad 636, Andrew Allen, Eric Robbins, Erica Robbins, Barb Steele, Jin Jin, and Ashley Maria. And it's basically an order of when they joined for everything. So exciting. So check out that. It's fun to honor the folks that have been there in the past. It also has the years in which they're with us. So we're going to have some more content coming along here that's going to supplement the show on the site and on the YouTube as well. So that's exciting. All right, so let's talk about some video. Ooh. I'm hearing a flutter.
Bats.
Say somebody got spiders.
They probably won't hear that actually because of the noise suppression. So that was dead air for me. But anyway, what are we playing right now, folks? I've talked a while. Jack, why don't we do you, and then I'll come back around.
Sure. Let's see. What have I been playing? I finally got Doom: The Dark Ages to work on my Xbox. So I played that a little bit with the rain over here this weekend. It's much better than Doom Eternal. I won't say it's as good as Doom 2016 yet. I haven't played enough of it yet to say that. But it is definitely giving me more Doom 2016 vibes than Doom Eternal. I mean, the Doom Slayer is a tank. And he is awesome. The shield is really cool. I just got the ability that lets me start throwing that thing like Captain America. It feels so satisfying. The parry system's really cool. I'm really digging it. I'm only about 4 or 5 hours into it. but really, really excited to keep going and seeing. And like Joe was mentioning earlier, like it's that game where I want to see kind of what's next. I want to see what's going to happen next. How are they going to escalate things, and how is it going to keep getting, bigger and badder? I've been playing that a lot. I've been playing my new Anbernic. I got this thing a few weeks ago. I put a custom OS on it and been playing that quite a bit. And then, man, what else? Final Fantasy 16, still working my way through that. I played about 4 hours last night, and I didn't get through a single main quest. It was all side quests and hunts for
Oh my god, now I don't want to play it anymore.
I mean,
I don't like side quests these days. I'm too old for side quests.
I'm gonna look up my play timer
Die at any minute.
I could, yeah. Go in to get some stupid accessory. I just want the story. They need adult mode for that. Shouldn't call it that. They need quick mode.
You're right.
They need quick mode for games where you can, like I've mentioned. I've been saying this for 20 million years, since the start of the show in the Paleolithic era. But you need to be able to just go through the story and not have to do all this stuff. Jack, did you find your playtime?
Yeah, I'm at 62 hours right now. I have 10 main missions left and like 20, no, not 20. I have like 10 notorious hunts and like 15 side quests left.
How notorious are the hunts? Do you have to do the side quests?
You do not have to do any of the side quests, but there are some side quests that get you better gear and better things to help out with the end of the game. So like I kind of have to do them.
It's the Final Fantasy thing.
And like what really stinks is one of the notorious hunts, it's a gigantic dragon, which is kind of a reskin of a boss fight earlier in the game, but it's like 20 levels higher than you when you have the ability to go try to fight it, and like it like one-shotted me 3 times in a row.
Compare it to any of the other Final Fantasies?
No, I mean the closest I would say is probably maybe 12, and I don't even know if I would say 12 is. Yeah, because it plays more like Devil May Cry than a Final Fantasy game.
No, I do like what I've played so far of it, though. I do.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah, when you get towards the end, I would say if you want to see the end, you do not have to do the side stuff, but it's compelling. It's not Witcher 3 level side quest dialogue and storytelling, but it's somewhere between that and like an Oblivion or a Skyrim. Like, hey, go there and kill these 5 things.
Nice. I also wanted to remind everybody, if you would like to like and subscribe, we would really appreciate it. And if you subscribe, your name will go up here if you have your YouTube privacy settings set appropriately, so it'll show people what you subscribe to. Most people do, but in case you do it and it's not there, it's not my fault. Just set your privacy. Unsubscribe and subscribe again. But it'll be show up right here, and it'll do the da-da-da-da-da-da thing. So that would be a lot of fun. So we've been doing this since 2002, and I keep everything, obviously. So it'll be around for everything and for all time. So
digital pack rats.
Yep, one day, before the Earth dies, Break will just shoot all of our stuff up into space, and then, one day the aliens will see that you subscribe to this show.
I'm gonna put up some of the old episodes, some of the better ones. I mean, I could just put all of there. Honestly, there aren't any that are super embarrassing, which is surprising of the ones I've listened to. I really haven't changed. Jack hasn't really. Jack maybe likes Xbox a little bit less, and I like it a little more. That's probably what has changed.
Combined, we've mellowed out.
Yeah, we've kind of gone more towards the center. Less restriction of certain vocabulary.
Well, like they say, age has a way of flattening a man. So you're just.
We're not old, even
out.
though I just said that we're old. But yeah. So, Maul, what have you been playing?
Yeah. Oddly enough, Pokemon, which I wouldn't
Gotta catch them all.
Since I bitched incessantly about how terrible the Pokemon market is now, and it's full of just toxic flippers rather than actually like game players, or like you can't be a child to collect Pokemon right now because Like you can get used by your parents to buy Pokemon because it's like one per person. So your 40-year-old dad will take you out of school and have you wait in line with him so he can get more. To put sealed boxes in his collection as like a college fund for you one day is the idea. But that aside, though, it seems to have bled over with me constantly like talking about and complaining about Pokemon, that it's like it's just in my system, right? So like Haley's playing Pokemon Go and I'm playing Pokemon Pocket, and we just dusted off Sword and Shield and are talking about buying Arceus. Like, I don't know what happened to me. So
I've been wanting to try
there's a
Arceus.
reason there's a reason it's the number one earning franchise of all time, which if you didn't know that, Pokemon in the course of its 25 years in existence has outgrossed Star Wars and everything it has earned across its 45 years now by gobs. Like, the amount of Pokemon shit that sells is madness, and it's only increasing like year after year. Yeah. So yeah, it definitely is like addictive, and it'll get you. So yeah, but
Game Freak. Have you played the game that Game Freak made? Well, I mean, they made more than one, but they made a game for Genesis before Pokemon. I'll look it up. It's pretty cool. It's kind of a little bit more Flash than.
While you think of that, did you ever play the Xbox One, PlayStation 4 game they put out?
Pulseman.
Yeah.
Pulseman is pretty cool.
Yeah,
don't know if I
that's
know.
really cool.
I will have to look into it.
There's no Pokemon.
Yeah.
The one for Xbox One and PS4 is Tembo the Badass Elephant. Did you ever play that?
No.
Oh yeah, no, it's Game Freak, and it's a fun little like puzzle platformer. It's pretty cool. It's got a really cool.
I want to be a badass elephant.
A Tembo.
You know, I think I've played this before. Actually, now I'm looking at some gameplay video. Pulseman. This is pulling up some old Gameco like primal memories into my head. So somewhere in there.
Yeah, no, it's a pretty cool game. It wasn't super available in the U.S. as much as elsewhere, but if you haven't played it, you should give it a try for sure.
Give it a go. Yeah.
It's a little bit more like visually appealing. The gameplay for me wasn't quite as good as I thought it was going to be, but I think it's definitely worth a play.
No, I mean it's got a Mega Man vibe, right? He's even got like a role stand-in, sister character. So
yeah.
I mean,
anything
it's
Mega
gonna
Man
get you.
It's going to be great.
Anything. So
anything, especially Battle Network, blah 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 on GameCube.
Yeah, I mean, we've already talked about how much you love Mighty Number 9. So
that's not Mega Man, my friend. That is a cash grab. That was meant to be sort of like Mega Man. Actually, I don't think it was a cash grab in all reality. I think it was a game that was more difficult to pull off than anticipated.
Flawed game, but
is that the original Kickstarter cash grab?
As I just say, it's not a cash grab.
Hey.
I don't know. It was something.
No, yeah, it's Keiji Inafune. He's like, all you Mega Man fans that love Mega Man haven't had a Mega Man. I'm gonna make a Mega Man, and then everyone was like, that's not Mega Man.
Yeah,
everybody's just like, make another Dead Rising, please.
Yeah, I tell you, it makes me real glad that like Bloodstained came out as good as it did. Because I backed real hard on that one.
Yep.
And after Mighty Number 9 and all the delays, everyone was like, "Oh no, it's happening again. They're running off with our money. We're gonna get nothing."
So, Maul, did you enjoy the Bloodstained Ritual of the Moon, or did you enjoy the two retro games that came out?
I actually never played the second retro one, but I enjoyed both the first retro and the and the full like.
Yeah,
real
I
game.
think the second retro one's better than the first. What do you think, Jack?
Oh yeah,
second one's I like the first one, but the second one is head and shoulders above the first.
Okay, I might have to go check it out. I mean, it's in the blood. Like, I'm a big Mega Man and Castlevania guy. Like, even just today, couple of my coworkers came up and I don't know. One of them was just randomly playing Bloody Tears, you know, on his phone, and I was just like, oh god, I gotta go break out some Dracula X tonight or something like that. So
Sarumaru just mentioned something. The other thing, Mighty Number 9 made fun of like the demographic they were targeting.
Oh,
that was the other thing that really hit sour for people. I mean, I remember that being a really big deal. So
I just always think of that screenshot that Wario64 uses every time it goes on sale, and it's like it looks like it's PS1 quality, like just terribleness.
But that's only if you have like a 5090.
Yeah.
Otherwise you're gonna get some like Sega Master System. That's how, whenever I used to want to irritate someone, I'd be like, oh yeah, it kind of looks like a GBA game. Back in the day. Didn't go over well.
You were trolling everybody back then.
I did. I used to really like to troll. I don't troll as much. Maybe I should troll again. It makes it harder to troll when Q's not here because he is interfaces with the trolling so much more than like if I trolled you, you'd be like, yeah, okay. But he would talk about it for like years. Speaking of which, Logan, what are you playing?
Okay. So I've been playing a little bit of Phasmophobia recently. Game that you can do a lot of trolling in, honestly.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, no, there's these things called cursed objects, and the most common one to troll with is the deck of tarot cards, where each card affects the ghost in a different way, and somebody will just like spam all of them and like remove all of our sanity and cause it to get really angry, and everybody's not prepared, and it's amazing. I'll have so much fun.
Have you played the Genesis game, whatever, Haunting with Poltergeist?
No.
It's kind of fun. It's another haunting. You seem to like the haunting games. And it's an older one, and it's kind of a cool. The story is like this guy wronged you. I think he fired you, or maybe he caused your death. I don't know, but you basically like haunt his whole family, so like including his kids. So it's a little bit like, but you can like possess different things around the house and stuff. It's kind of fun. It's a unique little Genesis game, and I know you like Genesis stuff. So.
Yeah,
Phasmophobia is cool. It's kind of like my life a few years ago.
Really?
Oh, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh yes, I do. Sorry, caught on the brainwave.
That's okay.
Then I also just downloaded Battlefront 2 again because that game has been having a massive spike in players lately.
Yeah, like they beat a record. Like everyone's playing that.
Yeah. Haven't launched it yet. Haven't had the time since I downloaded it, which is unfortunate. But I'm planning on hopping back in as soon as I can.
What's the impetus behind the resurgence on that?
I think it was the finale of Andor season 2.
Okay.
People feeling Star Wars
because they were playing it at my kids' school. There was like a game party their last day, and like they were all playing Battlefront 2, which was kind of like that's been out for a while.
Yeah,
but
and I think
hey, it's Star Wars.
Literally had the biggest game ever. Oh, biggest day for the game ever, at least on Steam.
I like the original Battlefront games better, but
yeah, I'm a big graphics guy. I'm a big graphics guy, and I love the immersion of like the levels they've created for Battlefront 2. So I mean, that's what draws me into it.
No, they're well. I like the way that they look. I just for some reason the way they play. Maybe I should need to give them more of a chance.
Well, it's gotten better. The game was not good when it launched, so...
Yeah. They've gone and fixed a lot of those problems, but it definitely still has that kind of haze surrounding it.
Like I said before, Breakboy X and Daria had some, like, all-out fights, lots of screaming coming. You could hear other rooms.
I was never a big fan of how they handled the vehicles. Like, you just, like, go to this spot, and then all of a sudden you're flying... TIE fighter or an X-wing. It kind of took me out of it every time.
That's
not how it works being in them though, and like just shooting all the little people on the ground.
Yeah.
I mean,
it makes you feel powerful.
I don't know. It's cool. Like I like atmospheric dogfights. You know, it's I was stoked when they finally did that in Force Awakens, and it was cool to have it in the games where you're both like shooting, the guys on the ground at scale, like everyone, all the other players are running around having 200-man, gunfights, and you're just like flying over trying to shoot little colored dots as they run through like the jungles of Naboo. And then, here comes a Y-wing, and you got to get engaged with them and dogfight in the sky. It was cool. You get like a little, it's very, there's a lot going on. Yeah, a lot going on.
Johnny Graphics mentioned us digital pack rats refer to the term archivists, and I'm gonna keep that because I have all my files going back to like the mid '90s.
That's impressive.
Whoa! And right when I said that, there was a scary laugh coming through for this Super Castlevania 4 remix. That was perfect.
You're talking about the air combat in Battlefront Mall. I think that build, the nearly finished build of Battlefront 3 that got like leaked recently.
Yeah,
they have a pretty cool like ground to air like transition system in that.
Yeah, no, it's really neat. That one's cool too, and it is unfortunate that we lost out on that game. Maybe it was too ambitious for the time, but it seemed like it was going to work out. But yeah, pretty cool.
I think it was like basically done before they scrapped it. I'm not entirely sure why they did, but like the build that was leaked is about just fully playable. This was pre-EA. This was like the old Battlefront.
Well, I think that's probably why though. They probably lost the license or transferred it over to EA. Yeah. Well, not even. Well, maybe Disney too. But I mean, I think even pre-Disney, EA got the exclusive rights. Like around the time that the Old Republic came out, right? It was when EA got the Star Wars license at the time.
Yeah, because Pandemic did the first two Star Wars Battlefront games, and I think they published those directly under LucasArts.
Some of those Star Wars games from that gen were actually pretty dang good. At the time, I didn't think they were, but revisiting...
Yeah, no, Star Wars had like a run of pretty solid games. Like there was a time where like, there's so many classics we went back through and named them, from like, Dark Forces and Jedi Academy, TIE Fighter X-Wing. They had the pretty cool like RTS one.
Galactic Battlegrounds.
Yeah, thank you. And then there's just a good number of really solid ones. Yeah, it's some missteps like the original Phantom Menace game, but then like Jedi Power Battles came out like a year later and was great. So,
And who can forget Masters of Terras Kasi or Kasai?
Yeah,
I rented that and really wanted to like it. Didn't get my wish.
It's pretty bad though. Pretty bad.
We should get to Jess's games that she's playing.
Yeah.
What are you playing, Jess?
So I have not been able to play as much as I would have liked to, at the end of the semester and everything. But school's been out for about like a week and a half at this point, and I got moved, and so I'm settled back in, and I just got the Oblivion remaster.
Ooh.
And I am having so much fun with the nostalgia of it all.
Have you remembered where everything is so far?
Mostly. Unfortunately, in general, I tend to be really bad, like, geography-wise in games to start with, and also in real life. A little directionally challenged. But I definitely remember at the least, like, all of the quests and all of the characters. Like, I get to think, I'm like, oh, yeah, I remember this. So I've been playing a lot of that. I have been jumping in and out really non-committally of, I think it's my third or fourth playthrough of Dragon Age the Veilguard.
Nice.
Which I know was controversial, and I have my opinions of it in various different ways. But I'm having a great time with it. I love the gameplay. I love the gameplay of it. Especially since I like to be a mage, but I also really hate doing ranged combat. I like to be in the middle of everything, but I want to be magic.
Yeah.
And so this has had the best option for that by far. I have plenty of gripes with how they've handled some of the lore aspects of things. But at the end of the day, I love Dragon Age so much. I'm like an uber nerd. I own all of the comics and the books and the everything about it. And I was just so thrilled to just have the game. So yeah, I think it's my fourth playthrough, and I'm just like been jumping in and out of that very, again, non-committally. Still trying to get through my first playthrough of Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah, same.
Which
We've talked about that game a lot this season, so I need to get on it too.
my thing about it is and just personally, I'm not a the combat system is a little rough for me. I'm not a turn-based combat person, mostly because I'm bad at combat in video games in general. And like Baldur's Gate, you actually have to like think, and you can't just button mash your way through it, which is always my like go-to strategy. But I really like the lore. I think I'm not as knowledgeable of D&D as I feel like I should be to enjoy it like fully in the way that it was meant to. But I do enjoy it. I'm in the third act at this point, and it's just, and then that's been going on for like the last 6 months just to get to that point, just because of how busy I've been. And then I've broken back out the Switch recently because I was like wanting to play games, but I didn't have time to play games, and so I was finding some like really like little like short burst games. There's one that I'm playing right now called Cozy Grove that I really love, because you get to be this like little. You're shepherding like spirits, and they're these really adorable little like bear spirits that you're helping on this island, and it's like structured in the point where you're only given so many tasks that you can complete a day. So like it like forces you to not play for long periods of time, which is like really great for my schedule.
I love the art style.
Also, it's so much fun. Like it is adorable. It is like actually really like heartwarming in a lot of ways, and it's just the right amount of. I can play that pretty much every single day, no matter what I've got going on, which is super nice. And then I also, weirdly enough, downloaded Oregon Trail. There's like a remake of the Oregon Trail. And I love that so much when we did it in elementary school. And I remember being so mad because I got put in a group of really impulsive boys to like try to work through it. And they like killed us so quick. Because they're just like, let's do every reckless decision possible. And like, we had done it over like several weeks. And I think we were out at like week 2. Or of like, everybody was dead.
Cholera? Dysentery? All of the above?
Yeah, all of the above. And so we just had to like kind of sit there and watch everybody else play for like several weeks after that. But like I had the game, the computer game that I played as a kid that I loved. And this like kind of revamped version is... I really like it. It's different enough that it doesn't feel entirely like nostalgic to me, which is really interesting. But I've been doing that every once in a while, of just like do like a little like short burst, and dying very, very regularly. So it's been super fun.
I love that. I love short
running
burst games. Yeah,
speed running the 1800s experience.
Speedrunning Dysentery.
Not an experience that I would want.
Oh no, absolutely not.
I'm so glad that I live now and not at. I mean, no video games, first of all, but then like disease, lots and lots of disease.
Oh, I would have like tripped getting into the wagon. Like I wouldn't have even made it on the trail. I would have like tripped, broke my neck, game over.
Yeah, in my like some of my ancient history class, whatever, they always was talk about how like any like small thing that you can just get fixed now, you'd just be dead. Back then, like like an infection, dead. Like cold, you might die. There's a good chance. Small tooth problem.
Reminds me of the Seth MacFarlane film, A Million Ways to Die in the West. If you've seen that at all,
Wow, I haven't seen that in a while.
It's pretty
drifted
great.
off into obscurity, but it's got Neil Patrick Harris pooping into a hat. So, you got to watch it.
And that's all you need to know. That's the trailer. Poop.
Johnny Graphics just left a comment saying Oregon Trail is a classic. Pretty sure that's how I learned what dysentery is. Same here.
I think that's how everybody learned what dysentery was.
I think that's how we learned. Yeah, I think Are there any other comments you want to highlight before I get into my diatribe of games?
Couple. Storm Eagle says we all want EA to make Star Wars Battlefront 3.
Please.
Yes, we do. Johnny
No
Graphics
microtransactions.
Says, no microtransactions, please. Yes.
It's just everything's a microtransaction these days.
Johnny Graphics says Poltergeist is great, and I love him.
Yes. Okay. By the
I will
way,
have to try
his Johnny Graphics recent video of obscure or hidden gem Genesis games is pretty rad. You all should check it out
Nice.
if you haven't already.
Yeah, I think that's some of the more recent comments there.
Arcus Odyssey was the
Nice.
last one he mentioned. I need to play through that. I played a little bit of that, but after watching his video, I'm gonna play more of that. Pretty cool
Nice.
game. All right, so diving back into mine, it's been a crazy busy time, but still playing Dr. Mario on Fridays with Tara. We have our showdown, and I got the NES NSO controllers to play with the real hardware.
Oh.
Those, because it's like basically like playing with a new NES controller, and it's wireless. Because mine I've had since like 1986, 87, and a little worn out. And as I was talking with Bob the other day on Retro RGB, there really aren't any good replacement parts for them yet, and there might be soon, apparently. But as of right now, there really aren't. So really a godsend in terms of having like an actual NES controller that feels amazing. I love the NES controller. I mean, it's probably childhood and nostalgia and all that, but there's something about not playing with a third-party 8-bit do or whatever and playing with an actual NES controller.
Yeah.
And the lag's pretty great. I mean, I haven't noticed. It actually felt a little bit less than the 2.4 gigahertz 8-bit do one. So pretty excited about that. Also, the RetroTink 4K, they released a firmware update for some audio improvement stuff, where it now samples at 192 instead of 96, and it also fixed the gain issue, which was an issue that I'd had. So it's been making some of those older games a lot of fun to play. Also started the Halo campaign over again with Breakboy X on the OG Xbox, because we'd played through the entire Master Chief Connect collection and Reach and except for Infinite, because Microsoft promised that you'd be able to play split screen co-op, and then when they found out that I wanted it, they decided not to do it. That's how I'm remembering it. And but playing the Halo campaign on the original Xbox really with Breakboy X has really shown me again how amazing the sound design was on the original Xbox. That game sounds great. Like the sound effects are super high quality. The music, of course, everyone knows is great, but the placement of everything, the speaker placement is really, really fantastic. And it was really making me lament how crappy, like Joe was saying, how some of the modern games just can't do that anymore for some reason, and it drives me nuts. But the OG Xbox really, really does that well. So, and I just feel like it plays better than the Master Chief Collection. I don't know if that's just me or whatever, but and look at some of the textures sometime close up if you get a chance. They look better on the OG Xbox. There's some weird stuff going on the map. But anyway,
Yeah.
Halo's a pretty good game. Jack, you should try it sometime if you haven't already. I think you'd like it.
I'll check it out.
I've also been playing the Switch Invite game, which is not my favorite, and have not gotten my invite yet for Nintendo, despite putting in for it like the second that Miyamoto smiled at me and the Direct. Been looking at different places, trying to figure out. Breakboy X and I are going to go to Best Buy at midnight on June 5th. And I'm not going to go super early. I'm going to go at 11, and just because he's never been to a midnight launch, so it's going to be kind of fun to do that anyway. I did get to pre-order a controller, so at least I'll get that. Yay.
She's just sitting home, just playing nothing.
It's a pro controller, though. I'll be a professional that day. But no, so hopefully we'll get one. I think the stock's going to be fine, and if it's not, I'm not going to flip out about it. But I'm pretty excited to play Breath of the Wild the update and some of the other games, some of the Switch 1 games with the update, and of course Mario Kart World. We play a ton of Mario Kart here, whole family. And then I've been playing Super Mario Worlds. Old games here, but Super Mario World again, the NSO controller with original hardware using the 8-bit adapter. It's a lot of fun. That game is great. I still like Super Mario Bros. 3 better. But World is awesome. It's such a great game. But But yeah, this was a really fun episode. This was really fun. Having Joe on here was so much fun. Jess, she's over here. Jess, I always get that backwards. Jess, because it's flipped. But Jess is, I think, a fantastic addition to this Brady Bunch of people here. That'd be a fun intro sometime for like a show. Like, here's a story. I got to figure out how I'm going to arrange all 6 of everybody for when Dario returns. So we'll see how that goes. It'll be fine. We've got Ethan Jackson is going to be joining us. He's a he's a radio host. He's interviewed just about every rock star you could imagine, if they're of the heavier genre. So he's got lots of fun stories. Also, have a lot of cool stuff to talk about with movies. He's going to have a pretty cool announcement tomorrow. If you follow him on any social media. So congrats to him on that. Nice. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Jack, is there anything you'd like to say before we head off into the sunset?
Boy, shout out to Capcom. The Capcom Fighting Collection 2 is awesome. I've played more Capcom vs. SNK 2 in the last week than I think I did when it originally came out. It's a
Fighting Collection 2?
Fighting Collection 2. It's got Capcom vs. SNK 2, Capcom vs. SNK 1, the 2000, Capcom Fighting Jam, Star
Power
Gladiator, Power Stone 1 and 2, the arcade versions, not the Dreamcast versions.
Oh.
And Red Earth on it Red Earth.
Plasma Sword?
Maybe not Red Earth. Yeah, Plasma, not Plasma Sword. Or,
there's Plasma Sword.
Yes,
Nightmare
Plasma Sword is on it. Yeah, not. It's the sequel to Star Gladiator. It also has Project Justice, the fighting rival schools sequel on there too.
Well, hopefully the Switch 2 has a better D-pad, and we can play some of the. It's be fun to play some of those games portably.
Yes, it would be. But anyway, yeah. So just a lot of fun playing that thing, and looking forward to playing some more online here pretty soon.
Nice. And Maul.
Yeah, well, my
what was our sponsor tonight? You didn't tell us what our sponsor was tonight.
I didn't have one. I was in too much of a rush to get this computer up. Today we were sponsored by, this is the only brand name thing I have nearby. It's a Mooncat nail polish.
There we go.
Not for me, but they have nice colors,
Nice. Thank you, Mooncat.
They look good on Haley's
this
fingers.
This is a joke for legality purposes.
But yeah, upcoming, I have some orders for the Final Fantasy expansion for Magic the Gathering coming up pretty soon. So I don't know, Break, have you looked at that at all?
No, I haven't played Magic in a really long time.
I know it's not usually your realm, but I think you would at least appreciate like
the artwork.
Of course, the art looks fantastic.
I love the artwork.
And there's some really deep cuts because it goes across. Well, the artwork on the packaging, of course, is like featuring, hyping up, like the 7, like the remastered 7. It's kind of like the style. It really goes through like all of the games.
Final Fantasy 7. I don't know.
But it's got like even as one of the in jokes, is it Final Fantasy 4 2 for us or 6? Where you can play as the monk 4. and you can pile drive everything.
Oh, Sabin.
Oh, yeah. But there's a bit because he can pile drive everything. Even like vehicles and stuff like are not immune to his pile drivers. So there is a card in the set that's called Pile Driver, and it's got him running just full speed towards a train that he's about to pick up and flip over his back. Just crazy stuff like that.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, of course, all the like Wedge and Biggs and all the characters are in there. And actually, one other nice thing is Sid. Since there's a Sid in every game, there's one Sid card, but he has one different art for each game that Sid was in.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so.
Even Final Fantasy 8, where he's like the grand like the principal, the little glasses.
Maybe I have to go back and double check, but I know they've got like a whole plethora of.
I want to go into battle with that Sid.
Yeah,
principal power.
So that'll be cool. Otherwise, I'm gearing up and excited for Gen Con. You might hear me mention that a couple more times before the show, because I'm going to that the last 2 days of July that starts, and it's been a couple of years since I've been there.
That's
a little
cool.
longer even since I've been there as a player. The last couple of times I've been there on a gig, running games for different companies and stuff. So I'm really looking forward to just getting around and looking at stuff and just immersing myself once again. So
Awesome.
Good times.
Very cool. No, I liked Magic a lot. Shadow and I played it a lot for a few years, and then I just didn't anymore. I don't know. I just lost interest all the time. I still like the artwork.
It's very expensive.
It is. That was one thing. Yeah. The artwork. I've always liked the artwork, and I like the idea of it, but it's just not something that I was able to. And the tournaments had some interesting folks.
Sure, as they do. Well, there's a pre-built cloud starter deck out there, so maybe you can.
Is there a
find
Sephiroth one?
He might be in that too. There's definitely is a Sephiroth. One of the big chase cards in it is the ascended like Genova Sephiroth mutant with all the the bazillion wings and stuff on him. So there's a super limited foil version of that. Oh, and the chase card though is the golden chocobo that you breed out and everything. So the ultimate version of it is foil stamped. There are only 777 copies of it.
I might need to get the gold chocobo.
Well, you're going to be probably paying 5 digits for it.
Then I will not get it. But I will think about the gold because that was when I was helping Shadow get Knights of the Round. You know, Knights of the Round in Final Fantasy VII. You have to get and then it takes a while to get the chocobo to appear, so you can actually do the thing. And it took us hours. And then if you hit it, it runs away. And Shadow hit it and it ran away. And it was very upsetting because we spent a long time that New Year's Eve trying to get that. So. Luckily, it came back two battles later. So it took hours to get it the first time, and then 2 battles later. So really, But I was like, all right. I was like, whatever you do now, okay, don't hit it. You just you don't and then attack. And no, it's okay. Maybe if we do the thing with the other guy quicker, and it'll it's gone. Work! Logan, what would you like to say before we're heading off into the sunset?
Yeah, couple things. I've been really looking forward to this Pac-Man Shadow Labyrinth game. They released a new trailer for it recently, and they showed off there's going to be some Pac-Man maze gameplay in there, of course. And I don't know, I'm just a big fan of Pac-Man, and this game is an interesting twist on it, and I just love the weird blend of stuff they've got going on. So I can't wait to try that out. And then the other thing is that several shows ago at this point, I was talking about the short film that I've been making. In theory, I'm going to be hearing about whether or not it's been accepted to the Fantasia Film Festival on Friday. So
be their loss if they didn't get it.
Nice.
Great movie.
Hopefully that happens.
Crossed.
It really is a great movie. If any of you have a chance to see Edge of Oblivion by the great Loden Bodenhammer, you should go check it out.
Yeah,
it's great.
Trailer's on my channel, and it'll be out online somewhere in the future. I'll be keeping
really
you all
good. We played the trailer. What episode was it? We played the trailer.
It's been a while now.
It exists.
Episodes back, yeah.
It exists there. But while you're looking for that, Jess, your first show. What would you like to say before we head off? And Johnny Graphics said, "Good show, Jess is cool." You're getting approval.
Thank you.
Approval.
Awesome. No, thank you so much for having me on here. This is really awesome. I'm looking forward to being a part of this. I guess if I'm looking forward to anything video game related, I actually got a text from my brother yesterday, and he was like, "Have you played Expedition 33 that just came out?" And I was like, "I've heard about it, but I haven't gotten to it yet." And he told me that he's played it, and it's one of the best written like narrative games that he's played in a very, very long time. And so I think that is going to the top of my list, and I'm hoping to get started on that hopefully this week.
Nice.
Awesome. It's really good. I
things.
haven't played a lot of it, but Adam Blue was talking about it a lot on the Discord. And I've played just a little bit of it, and it's pretty good. So I think, especially as a writer, I think you'll really like it. But, well, awesome. This has been a great season of the game show so far. We've got a lot more to go. But as we've continued to do this, I feel like we've really fallen back into the old ways and invented a lot of new things too. Feel like we're back, y'all. If you look at the website, everything going, I think we can say we're officially back. So we'll see you same time next week on the game show.